There's a lot of different stories around, and we don't really know 100% yet what is really going to mean. That's the whole difficulty of the situation, I would say.
We know that a number of other states in the EU have made this move, and certainly the European Commission want this to happen, that these golden visas are suspended. Hello, I'm Cal Sutherland. Time for our new feature on BayRadio International, where we look a bit more in depth into the property market here in Spain. Along with our partners at Villa Lux, myself and Romy, take a look at the latest stories around selling, buying and owning and renting property in Spain. Whether you're thinking about moving here, have just moved or lived here for longer, it's our new regular programme, especially for you. Hi, Romy.
Hey, Cal. Hey.
Busy week with plenty of stories around in the property market. A busy couple of weeks, actually, since we last spoke. And the biggest one, I guess, in the past 7 days is about the end of Spain's golden visa. Different people are saying different things. What does it mean for foreigners?
Different stories around, and we don't really know 100% yet what is really going to mean. That's the whole difficulty of the situation, I would say. So basically a golden visa, of course, probably almost everyone knows what it means, but if you invest for 500,000 euros or more in cash in property here in Spain, then you can get that way, you can obtain your visa and your residency that way. So it's of course a program a lot of especially people from the UK, Americans, but also Russians and Chinese and any country outside of the EU have been making use of, because it gives you this residency in Spain, which also means that you're freely to travel all the way through the EU. So
cuts past all the barriers, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So no, it's a very powerful visa, and the news reached us a couple days ago that they might going to be ending this program, which is going to affect the property market for sure. I mean that's undeniable. But in what way? We're not. And
how much as well, isn't it? Because the property website, the big portal Idealista, was saying that basically it will only affect around 0.1% of the 4 million homes that were sold during the period. We're talking about 2013 to 2023, whilst the scheme was in place. 14,000 permits were issued. And as you mentioned, most of those to citizens of China and Russia. And we were thinking more Americans and Brits.
I know, it's because of the area we're living in. So we see a lot of Americans, Brits coming here, and they come on a golden visa, and that's the type of clients, especially for example me, I'm talking to them, mostly Canadians, and that's what I think of right away. But of course Spain-wide, it's like all the other figures and everything we're talking about always, like the numbers can change and vary and be different all of a sudden.
Certainly the big cities, Madrid and Barcelona, seem to attract a different type of clientele, don't they, compared to say the coasts. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, they were saying that in 2022 there was about 10,000, I think you just said a little bit more. I mean, there's different numbers going out there, but it will be around that mark. Golden visas given out, and 97% of those people that obtained the visa actually bought a property in stressed areas in Spain.
So that's why there's been a problem, isn't it? Because then those houses that people would normally be able to, move into, who have normal standard day-to-day jobs, are no longer able to purchase, well, not buy, but certainly rent in those areas.
Exactly, but that's what they say. But then also when you look at the complete image, it's actually less than 1% of total home purchases that actually come through, people with a golden visa. So I don't think in the grand scheme of things, it's the number is that big, and I'm not sure if the measure is just because of that. But
I think there may well be something political going on here as well, with the fact that we have the PSOE socialist government now, and it was the Partido Popular, the Conservatives, who brought it in 2013. I wonder how much that has to do with it, but it seems to have happened quite quickly. We know that a number of other states in the EU have made this move, and certainly the European Commission want this to happen, that these golden visas are suspended. I wonder what it will mean to people who already have a golden visa, and whether they're going to have to change to a Spanish visa.
Yeah, I think these are all the questions that we're going to have get answered in the coming weeks, months, probably. That's always the problem when these kind of stories come out. You start thinking there's a lot of uncertainty, like what does it mean? But I'm sure that if you're already granted a visa I'm not sure, but I would think that there will be ways where you can at least
I mean,
change
we
it
know
for
that there are a
different
couple
type.
around, aren't there?
Yeah.
Because there's the non-lucrative visa, which is probably
Yeah.
more similar, but there's also the new digital nomad visa
Exactly.
as well. And we've talked about those different requirements in this program in the past, and of course they're
Yeah.
available to listen back to and watch again on our websites at
And in certain
BayRadio.fm and also on the Villalux website.
Yeah, sorry for cutting you off.
That's
No,
all
it's
right.
in certain cases as well. It's when, imagine if you got a job in the meantime here while you're living in Spain on the golden visa,
Yeah.
you could probably change it for a visa based on employment. So, there will be, hopefully for people who got it already, there will be ways to actually extend it and renew it for something different. But yeah, for the property market, I think some things will be changing as well, especially because the 97% of those 10,000, they're in stressed areas, and that's of course like where we are here in Havia as an example. I think that would be a stressed area as well.
Yeah,
So-
where it's just becoming more and more difficult for locals or the people that live and work in the area to find a property to rent or even buy if they're in that position. We're not sure either what's going to happen in the future either, because we've seen this happen quite quickly. And will the Spanish government make any other changes to foreign visas and property ownership in the future? We know that, of course, Airbnbs and other short-term holiday lets have been making people change the way that they view things. We've talked about the protests in Malaga in the past, and in the Canary Islands in recent weeks, they've also been protesting and even talking about going on hunger strike, to try and alleviate or find a way to get the government to alleviate these problems that people are finding in getting homes in the areas where they've grown up and lived.
Yeah, and I think that's like a big part of the problem as well. And again, it's understandable from an investor's point of view. Like tourist licenses, because that's like a very big topic at the moment around here, for example, because you hear stories and rumors that they might stop giving them out. Different towns, different rules, but that's from the same kind of mindset, because a lot of people buy apartments. What would be like a first home for people starting out, or people that actually work in certain towns, and people buy them up, they flip them, and they put it on Airbnb, and because of that, they're thinking about maybe in some towns not giving these tourist licenses out anymore, and it's already happening a bit more down south.
We are seeing some towns make the decision to only allow a certain amount of properties or a certain percentage of properties be on those types of websites. So I think it's something that's going to change quite quickly. It's going to change, in different areas at different times, because there are different rules. Different mayors can make their own rules. And as we know, the regions have their own say as well, away from central government decisions too. That record number of foreigners buying homes really has seemed to have created a bit of tourism hate, if I could put it that strongly, because there are, stickers going up. There are also signs going up saying that beaches are full, and so when they're actually not, and basically signs going up to dissuade tourists from visiting particular areas. And we want to see some kind of harmony between the both, don't we?
That would be great if that could be true. But it's always as with everything in life, isn't it? Like once you get bigger differences, in this case between the very wealthy people and people that are let's say normal, you do get these kind of situations, and it should balance out.
It's a struggle. We've talked about it before, haven't we? The difference in wages for Southern Europe and those in the North. It's a big gap, So we're seeing that's exactly what we're seeing reflected in the market here. And but of course, lots of people still buying. And we've said before, if anybody has any questions about property in Spain from any aspect, that you're the oracle, and that they can ask us. Marika rather in Utrecht has been talking about what if somebody buys from a non-resident, she's heard that there are some different tax implications. How right is that? And I must say, always be careful about what you hear from other people. Make sure you go to a proper source to get the right information.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit different. So, in Spain, when you buy a property, it could be that the seller is either a Spanish resident or non-resident. So imagine people from other countries in Europe or the UK, US, when they sell, it could be that they just had a holiday home. They never lived here permanently. They're just here to sell the property. In that case, but the Spanish tax authority does, they tell people what they do is they have a withholding tax.
Mm-hmm.
So basically 3% of the purchase price that's being withheld by the purchaser at the notary. And that then later goes to the tax authority. And it's really just for the tax authority to be able to keep an eye on that a bit more, because at the moment the seller sells and they go back to the country they're originally from. It's very hard to track them down if they wouldn't pay for. So like actually the responsibility of paying those taxes goes from the seller to the buyer, but it will be withheld from the purchase price, so they don't actually pay it.
So as part of the conveyancing, I would hope then that that would happen. The lawyers and the notaries and so on will be all on top of that.
Yeah.
But it's still worth something, still worth checking out with the agent that you're selling with or you're buying from to make sure that, that's been sorted out. I hope, Marika, that answers your question. And good luck in finding a property here in Spain. Because the like we said, regardless of all the things that are going on, the market is still really quite busy, isn't it?
It is, yeah. The market is still quite busy. We literally, I think, over the last 30 days, we got like 5 properties reserved. It's going well. A lot of still buyers from Northern European countries. I mean, the same story repeats itself, but it's still good. It's still good, but also houses coming on the market. It's doing well. So what are the hottest locations for foreign property buyers in Spain then? Yeah, I came across the article. It's always funny to kind of touch on that a little bit every now and then. So the hottest areas in Spain, let me see. It's first Andalusia. Mm-hmm. So that's like especially with the British, it's
Costa del Sol area.
Yeah, the Costa del Sol, Malaga, Marbella, everything. And then the Valencian community as well, which is, of course, where we are right now. It's really the coastal areas that are very much attractive. And the Brits still leading across Spain, then? They are still leading, yeah.
As the people who buy the most properties.
Yeah, that's the same with the number about what we were just talking about with the golden visa and the amount of property purchases. It's the same with this, because, we don't see as many Brits buying anymore in this specific area where we are, Javi and surroundings, but Spain-wide. Yeah, we know it's more Dutch people buying around here at the moment. But the Germans, as we know, love the Balearic Islands. 38.2% buying properties there. I know. Yeah, it's really like a little enclave, isn't it? Yeah, no. Yeah. They love that. Yeah. And then, The French, they like Catalonia, I guess, because it's closer to home. It's not so far to travel. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they like this the border, and then also the French. Than the Valencia community, just a little bit further. Yeah. Not too far. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's well, like I said, it's good to see that the property market is still buoyant despite some of the other issues that are coming to the fore. And I would stress to anybody, if you're thinking about buying in Spain, don't be dissuaded by all of the stories that are around. There are ways to buy, there are legal ways to do that, and I would suggest getting in touch with a reputable agent and continue as you would have done before, whether you're part of the EU or not. Yeah, no, sure, because again, as I always say, we got all the right contacts in place, so it doesn't matter what your situation is, we can line you up with the experts you need, really. Specifically, the Villa Lux website has some bespoke area tour videos, which gives people an idea and a feel for the type of places where you're selling properties. And tell us a bit more about those, and I think you're going to be making some more, aren't you? Yeah, we are. Yeah, so what we really try to do, because obviously there's a lot of people that buy a property that are coming from another country. They're not right now locally in Javia, Spain, or they might have heard about Javia and they're like, what is that little place? So what we really try to do is to highlight the areas in Javia to tell viewers about what they can find there, the proximity to schools, the beaches. We talk to local businesses, really to give people an idea and a feel of what it is to live in that certain area. So yeah, we're doing that, and we notice a lot of positive feedback. It really helps buyers in these first phases of their purchasing process. And we're going to do another one in a few weeks, which will feature the areas of Las Laderas, Cansalades, and Vils de Vent here in Javia. And we're going to see some local businesses as well. And it's going to be really good. It's a lot of the research that people would be thinking about and wanting to need to do for themselves before they move to an area. Like I said, if they're not very clear on exactly where it is or what happens there. So you're doing quite a lot of that work for people already, and you say it's a good place for them to go to get an idea about where they might even want to go, even if they're not sure about exactly where yet. Exactly, because when you look a lot at property websites or portals like Idealista, you see the areas, how they are this, and how it is, but what does it really mean, you know?
Exactly.
And I think we really want to give people that service of explaining them what the difference is, and it's working out.
It's great to get that, to actually see where you're talking about and hear the right questions being asked, and it gives you a good feel for those areas. So look forward to more of those bespoke tours.
Yeah.
And I understand that there is a job going at Villa Lux as well at the moment. What's that for?
Yeah, so we're looking for a marketing and sales assistant. We're open for people that are looking for work. We need help. We're busy. So
you and Max and the rest of the team are actually at it. So what sort of qualifications would somebody need? Languages?
Languages, at least we need someone. English, Spanish. That's like important. Fluency in English and Spanish. Any additional languages is a prey. And I mean, it is an assistant position. So especially someone who's just well organized, who is a hard worker. That's most important for us. Like somebody
and
who
experience.
Wants to. Experience, not necessarily. No, we're open to anybody who just has the drive and desire to be part of the team and to do a good job and be hungry and wanting to learn, because we can teach a lot of different things, especially what we need, but it needs to be someone who is actually open for that.
You mentioned drive there. The potential applicant, I would imagine, would need a driving license. It's essential in your business, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that would be more or less essential. I mean, it's if that's not the case, I mean, it doesn't have to be a very big problem, but it would be preferable.
The details for the marketing and sales assistant at Villa Lux is on the BayRadio website in the jobs section, so you can find out the details there. Contact number coming up in a moment as well. You can find out more about the properties Villa Lux has available, www.villalux.com, or you can call Romy or Max and the team on
965-794059.
And actually, if you've been watching the video this afternoon, you'll see that both of the numbers are up there. You can contact either of those, 684-455-844 for the Bay Radio Studio WhatsApp, or you can email studio@bayradio.fm if you'd like any more information. And you can stay on top of all the developments on living here and owning a property in Spain on Bay Radio International twice a month with myself and Romy, and of course on our Bay Radio and Villa Lux YouTube channels and our websites and social media. Many thanks, Romy. Looking forward to catching up again in a couple of weeks. And if anybody has any questions about anything, then you can call us or get hold of us on that WhatsApp number, 684-455-844, or ring Romy and Max and the team on 965-794-059. And we'll bring you the answers in future programmes. Good to talk to you again, Romy.